Hi, it's Esther here. I am part of the creative team for Little Butterfly Wings, and I'm going to highlight some of the different aspects of the M3 add on that Little Butterfly Wings released yesterday. First, let's take a look at some of the papers that really stood out to me. Many of these papers kind of give off the vintage vibe as well, which I happen to love. This particular paper, I love the doily imprint. It just adds a fun texture to the actual paper. Now, the next three papers all have the same foundation, but varying looks. And sometimes I love having the different options, as there are times when you have to make last minute adjustments, and options like this allow that. This paper is my absolute favorite. It's bold, it's blue, and it can represent darkness or it can be the perfect accent for brightness. I love the texture. It blends so well with this paper as well. And I want to show you this really quick in Photoshop. So let's take a look here. So here's the blue. And then when I layer this paper on top, that's what we're looking at to begin with. But I changed mine to a divide blend mode. And it makes part of that paint just pop out, maybe as a whitish color or blue, however you want to interpret that. And this look right here is actually the foundation for my layout that I created using the add-on bundle. You can see here I actually drug my paper um, over so that more of this showed, it was visible. But there, that just gives you a good representation that there are many options with what comes in the actual bundle. So don't feel that you're limited just by what you see there. And the journal cards are to die for. I had trouble deciding which one to use, so Marilyn decided, hey, we're going to use them all. Uh, and this layout by Marilyn is absolutely gorgeous. I love how she used the journal cards to just tell the story. That does take strategic placement, moving things around, but she pulled off an amazing layout using those journal cards. Journal cards are still a little bit of a struggle for me, so it takes me a little bit longer, but this is absolutely stunning. And in this layout, you can see we have the layered papers, but the journal cards are actually used as photo mats, not only just for the photo, but it's also used for the other journal cards as well. And then they're arranged in a way that kind of give the illusion that this is the flower on the stem. And in this layout here, I love how my fellow creative team member created this layout, how she uses journal card for the different journaling aspects. But I like how she used the background to build the story, and then the strategic placement of the art, the word art, and the elements, they all work together in this perfect harmony. Now we're going to focus a little bit on some of the elements. And in this layout, the thing that stood out to me was the use of these scribbles as mini frames. I think that was very creative and a unique way to use those scribbles. I can tell you that I will be borrowing that thought process in some of my future layouts. And in this layout, the I like how the elements are strategically placed to tell a story. But it's not just about the elements, because there are splashes of the journal cards in the background, which I love. But it's all about the strategic placement. So you see here how growth is represented. It's very creative, and it tells the story of how we move from this person to this person. Now, if you're with the perception and mindset that M3 is just for art journaling types, I'm here to show you that in this layout, that's just the opposite. This beautiful vintage layout just shows the different options that you have with the elements that are included in the bundle. And I love vintage layouts, and this one's absolutely stunning. And here, you this layout shows that you can take a tone on tone approach with the two different layered papers. They're similar in tone. They have different textures and patterns, which work phenomenally well together. And then because of these two having similar tones, they're subtle enough to where they don't take away from this, and this pop of color in the cluster draws your eyes to the cluster to better understand the story. And in the last layout that I'm going to show you here, it's another tone on tone approach. And I like how that the background and some of the elements do have that tone on tone approach. They add a visual appeal in an understated way, because a lot of these colors are already muted. So by taking on that tone on tone approach, it then allows this muted green and orange to really pop off the background. And then the strategic placement of the elements did have me coming through and saying, okay, let me discover what is here. Let me really see the depth that has been added. And I love layouts that can achieve that. So I hoped that this short video helped inspire you. Now, don't let me hold you back. Go and create.